And this segment is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbooking app. Not only are they the best, but let's be real, they're safe, they're secure, and more importantly, the thing that we and you both like, they are reliable. Man, you can't go wrong with DraftKings Sportsbook, but we also have a special thing for them. You know the special thing we're talking about, right? That promo code? So we got this promo code, right? Moats, M-O-A-T-S. If you use the promo code for all the first-time users out there, you will receive up to $1,000 worth of deposit bonus money. Does that sound good to you?
It sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
I mean, it's hard to find anything better than that right now, is it?
It's up there, dude.
So with that being said, you heard it from Deke, you heard it from me, baby. What are you waiting on? Download the app and use the promo code, and let's get that opportunity to make a little money.
What do you think of the whole us versus Jacksonville narrative in play with this game?
What do you mean?
Everyone's just like, it's Jacksonville. We've had struggles with them over the past however many years. This is actually kind of, I guess, a game for us to be motivated for, just to take care of business.
I mean, I've even heard people call it a rivalry just because of because of you think of the history of, all right, with Jalen Ramsey and how he was able to have success on Ben. Then remember they knocked us out of the playoffs. Then obviously the year after that we go down to Jacksonville, win right at the end. They were just saying because of the familiarity with a lot of the personnel. I mean, in terms of Steelers people, there's still a lot of us still here from those Jacksonville games. And then for the Jags, they still got some people there that was a part of some of these games as well. They're saying because of that could add to it. I've heard that narrative, and then I also heard, is it a trap game narrative as well, man? So for me, I don't think it's either, honestly. I mean, I understand they want to.
I feel the same.
Yeah, I don't think it's a rivalry, because when I think of rivalry, I think of like how we are with the Patriots, right? How because we saw each other so many times in significant games, that natural just like, hatred for each other became to grow. Whereas with Jacksonville, we look at it more so as, man, I personally have felt that they've taken advantage of some of our off days. And because I feel like if we play to our full potential anytime we're on the field against Jacksonville, we should win convincingly. And that has been the case when we've played well. But at the same time, in the recent history, they've caught us a couple of times, a little bit less than ready, in the words of Coach Tomlin. But either way, man, I don't see them doing enough. And for the trap game narrative, the reason I don't think it's a trap game either is because when you're sitting at 9-0,
we need this bye, dude. Like I really stand like pretty hard on this. That I think we just got to keep winning these games.
And now, see, for you, you're banking on the bye. For me, I'm not even thinking about the bye because I'm already anticipating the NFL hitting us with the okie doke. We're going to expand the playoffs, which ends the bye.
Well, what happened recently? The
Raiders right now.
That game's got to be close to being canceled.
Yeah, well, because right now the Raiders' whole starting defense is quarantined. They're not allowed to be in the facility. And they're like, well, if they don't test positive, they can go out here and play in the game. With Big Ben and Vince Williams last week, I mean, cool. Okay, those are two people we're talking about. If we said the whole offensive unit or the whole defensive unit couldn't practice all week and just show up in game day,
against Mahomes.
Against Mahomes, you're like, what? Are you serious right now? Like, it's crazy to think about. So, yeah, that's why for me, I'm like, it's only a matter of time because another thing, why do the Raiders keep popping up in this? I felt like they were just in this scenario 2 weeks ago with Trent Brown in the offensive line.
Well, they had a party at the beginning of the year.
They had the party at the beginning of the year as well, yeah. And then remember, Gruden had got fined because he was not wearing a mask on the side. Like, it's dude,
Vegas.
At least with the Titans, it was like one incident that just took 10 days to 14 days to get settled. With this, it's like, bro, it's 4 separate incidents. Like, what are we doing out there in Vegas, man? What are y'all doing? So that's why, for me, I still feel a little concerned in terms of this whole bye week. I don't think it's going to happen. I understand how the NFL operates, understanding the money associated with the playoffs. I just don't see them allowing that carrot that's dangling right now because they've already talked about expand. They want more. And this is giving them those opportunities. So for me personally, I'm just waiting on it. I'm waiting on the playoffs expanded. No first round buys. I'm just waiting on it, man.
I get that. And then the other thing, though, in terms of rivalry or, I don't know, the extra motivation with this game, which I don't feel like we need to have one way or another. Let's just keep winning. I think there's a good just vibe with this team and everything. Yeah. But the other thing is, like, all those players on those Jaguars teams are basically gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, the big thing with Jalen Ramsey and some of those other dudes on the defense, you don't have Bortles anymore. Fournette's not there.
Miles Jack, he was one. Josh Allen might have been there for the second, not the playoff year, the one where we actually were Ben. Remember, he's down in Jacksonville. And
was Josh Allen a rookie last year, though?
No, I don't. I have to check.
I can't. Well, it's either last year or the year
The
prior.
year before, yeah, I was sad because I thought that was his rookie year, so I have to double check it. But I mean, at least like I said, for defense, Miles Jack. For offense, definitely Greg Robinson. He was there. We definitely remember having some. I mean, Greg Robinson. Excuse me, the tackle. Yeah, so there's definitely been some exchange, some heated exchange with some of the edge rushers and that young individual right there. But for me, man, I think when you're 9-0, none of that matters. You're more focused on being 10-0.
Yeah.
I think that's the stage that we're in right now. I feel like if this team had already had a loss, if they were like 9-1 or 8-2 or a scenario like that, I think then you could worry about a trap game or potential quote unquote Tommy game.
So you think we're thinking about the 16-0 a little bit as we're getting closer and closer?
I don't think it's something that's talked about because, as I told you numerous times with Coach Tom, whatever the goal is at the beginning of the year, that's never going to change. And even when you listen to Ben just talked, I think it was yesterday. He said he's not, the 16-0 is great, but that's not the focal point. The focal point is the Super Bowl. That's always been the case. This is like, it's cool. This is extra.
Yeah.
Kind of like winning the division. I mean, if you win them all and you win the division, it helps you. But the Super Bowl is the final prize. That's the only thing that this team is really concerned about. But I just feel like when you're sitting at 9-0, you're just so locked in. You're so accustomed to this mode of winning that you're going to do whatever it takes to continue that on. And I just don't feel like the Jaguars present enough issues to knock them off. I don't, and I'm not saying that the game could potentially be ugly. It could be an ugly game. I think it's going to be one of those, they just making it just drag along. But this isn't a team that is good enough to beat this Pittsburgh Steelers team, man.